What's up, y'all? And welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today we are finally back with a regular episode to talk about my thoughts on the Batman Dr. Stone finale and what the heck happened in Sabikui Bisco this week. So let's get into it. So, what is up, everybody? I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all have had a awesome day, week, whatever the case may be. Even though there's been episodes dropping out consistently, it still feels weird, because of just time. The perception of time is weird. But before I get into all that, as always, if this is your first time here, welcome. But if you're a returning watcher or listener, then welcome back. We are back again for another week of family talk, manga, anime, games, and all things life brings us. Now, I'm kind of cut the music. Now, for those of y'all that are watching the video version of this, you might notice that I have a spiffy new background behind me. See, I can't. I wish I can get like a full screen, but this will have to do for now. And I was kind of originally going to wait until next week when it's the anniversary episode, but I'm like, you know what, screw it. I have it done. I gotta show it. So, and apologies for the audio listeners, just to explain what's going on. I have finally upgraded and got an actual manga shelf now. So, hopefully I don't bump the mic, but I'm gonna kind of step to the side a little bit. And slide my chair out the way for a second. For y'all to see a little bit of my glorious manga shelf. As far as what's in frame, the top row, I got 20th Century Boys, Vinland Saga, I Am a Hero, and Saturn Apartments. The second row, the genre swing is very wide, because I start off, I have I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, Our Teachers Are Dating, How Do We Relationship, Eniel and Duela, Witch Hat Atelier, Sweat and Soap, Ikigami, Alice in Borderland, No Guns Life, and Fist of the North Star. So yeah, that hard swing in the middle, going from Sweat and Soap to Ikigami. I know it's a bit a bit of a wild swing. And then I got more shelves, a couple more shelves down below that. And then of course I finally have a place to put up my freaking pop figures. Got my Zoro from One Piece. Got my T'Challa Star-Lord, Hollow Ichigo, and Toka from Tokyo Ghoul, and of course Sabo and Luffy figures from One Piece. So, yeah, I am so happy to have this shelf now and to have this in my background, and it feels so very fitting that I have this in the lead up to the 1 year anniversary of the podcast. Next week will be the 1 year anniversary of the podcast. And next week, I will still have like other shows and stuff for to talk about in manga for the week. But the main thing next week is going to be kind of us taking a journey, a look back at the podcast and the journey I have been on for this last year. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I am very happy to have my shelf with me. I did a live stream on Instagram Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night, because I had built a shelf for my wife so that I could take this one, because this one actually fits perfectly in my little space behind me. So I built her shelf and then put this in here, and then I did a live stream on Instagram of me putting up my manga and organizing and stuff. So shout out to the people that came out and jumped in that stream and stuff. So, but yeah, it was a awesome time. It was a fun time. For anybody that had came through and joined me on that. But yeah. So, like I said, I hope that y'all have been enjoying my very awesome guests I've had on the last few weeks. I had Mama Loves Manga on for Valentine's Day, and then I had my other awesome friend Moody Senpai on last week to talk about self-care and community and building communities and stuff. So I hope y'all have been enjoying those episodes, because I've enjoyed doing them, and I have a lot more planned, just because I have, I've mentioned this before, but I continue to network and connect and meet people, and yeah, just building those bridges, because I have some very dope stuff coming up. Some soon, some far away. but yeah. So make sure, make sure y'all go check out all the past episodes in general. If this is your first time here and you just found me, appreciate you dropping by. You have 50 other main podcast episodes, and then dozens of other mini episodes, reviews, impressions, all that stuff to go back through over the last year to look at. But yeah, go check out those episodes. Like I said, go show love to all the guests I've had. And like I said, just know I have lots more guests coming on. So hope y'all look forward to those things. And speaking of which, of making connections. So this weekend, I don't know if I want to have this shot. I'll go with this shot for a second. So this weekend, Saturday morning specifically, was a mess in some ways, but some good came out of it. So Saturday morning, I had the plan of, hey, I'm going to get up early. I'm going to go, get oil change and some other stuff done with my car, get a haircut, XYZ, take daughter to track practice, go pick up some more manga that I had scheduled to pick up, all that jazz. Well, the car situation or whatever, something happened and I couldn't get done what I needed to get done. So I'm like, well, great. Then, and so something good happened at the auto shop. I'll get back to that in a second. But then got to the barbershop. Since I got there super early because of the car stuff, didn't work out. So I was sitting there, and it was like 10 minutes before my appointment, because hey, I have now, for the most part, I schedule appointments to get haircuts now, because I don't be having time anymore to just go and sit up at the barbershop for X amount of hours potentially just to get a cut. I'd rather pay a few extra bucks and hey, all right, I need to be there at X time on this day. Cool. So about 10 minutes or so, I get a notification on my phone from the barber app thing, and I'm thinking it's about to say, oh, hey, your appointment's going to be starting in 10 minutes. So I'm getting ready to go in, and I looked at the notification again. It's like, appointment canceled, and I see my barber come out across the parking lot. I'm watching, I see him come out, get in the car, and leave, and I'm like, okay. But I made a new ally in the community. And let me get his stuff pulled up. So it's funny. Sometimes you just get a vibe of, hey, there's a chance I might end up encountering a fellow nerd here. So some of y'all know, some of y'all don't know. Hold on, let me see if I can find this guy's page. Hold on. Gaming. Okay. So a lot of y'all know that in the last handful of months, I have a dedicated manga backpack that I take with me, especially if I'm going to run errands or taking my kids to practice, whatever. I have a dedicated backpack where I have a handful of volumes, either that I'm actively reading or that I might be in the mood to read. And so when I got to the auto shop or whatever, I took the backpack with me in the shop or whatever, went to go sit down. I go in, and I could tell there was another person there. They were in the bathroom, but there was also a backpack there and a bag with some snacks, like chips and stuff, whatever. And I'm like, I wonder is this another nerd, potentially a black nerd. And sure enough, it was. Guy comes out the bathroom or whatever, make eye contact, like, hey, what's up, speak or whatever. And me, I have my signature conversation starter for a nerd, which most of y'all have heard this many stories of my Attack on Titan jacket. I wear 90% of the time, if the weather permits or is able to wear a jacket, I'm going to probably have on my green Attack on Titan jacket. And that's where it started. Conversation started. Guys like, hey, man, sorry to bother you, but dope jacket. Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And so the conversation starts from there. He tells me, like, hey, he recently started watching it, and him and his wife are enjoying it. There are a few episodes into the season 1, yada, yada, yada. Then like, hey, are you into any other anime? I'm like, oh, yeah. Big into anime, man. Got tattoo, all this other stuff, whatever. I'm like, have you ever heard of the show Trigun? He's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, I got a son named Vash after Vash the Stampede. He's like, yo, that's dope. And got to the point where I kind of hesitate at this point always. And I was like, you know what? He seems cool. I'm gonna mention the podcast. I'm like, hey, I'm so much into this stuff that I have a podcast where I talk about anime and manga and games and all that stuff every week. And he's like, oh, dope. What's it called? I'm like, hey, Danny's Talk, right there on the spot. Subscribed, followed on social media, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, hey, I got a they don't have a podcast yet, but he says it's in the works. But they have a group called Black Heaven Gaming. And so he says a group of him and a few other people, they all play video games and stuff. And he said, they talk about anime and different stuff like that or whatever. So, yeah. So shout out to James if you are listening to this at some point. Shout out to you. Shout out to the whole Black Heaven Gaming crew over there. Y'all go check out their Twitch channel and everything, their Instagram, all that stuff. YouTube page is all under Black Heaven Gaming. So shout out to you, man. And like I said, like, even though a lot of other stuff Saturday fell apart for me, it was like, you know what? I made a connection, networked. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah. So that happened Saturday. And yeah, this whole last week, honestly, it's been kind of weird because I think it's been a mix of me, like, kind of, really processing the fact that I have been doing this for a year. And just like what that really means, and it kind of set it in a little bit more because when I was at Barnes and Noble Saturday, and when I was checking out, the guy was like, "Hey, your car's gonna be expiring at the end of the month. Did you want to go ahead and renew your subscription?" And I was like, "Wow." That's when I truly understood, or it truly hit that it has been a year, because I got that Barnes and Noble subscription like a few weeks after I started the podcast. When I picked up, 20th Century Boys and Villain Saga, those first couple volumes of those. Um, and so yeah, so it's just like I said, just been a mix of that, me just trying to figure out how I've done things this last year, how I'm doing things now, what I want to kind of change and stuff, whatever. So my head's, like I said, just been kind of weird this last week. Like I said, just kind of just like doing a lot of just thinking and reflecting on everything, to be honest. And yeah, I have some stuff coming. I have some ideas that some of it I'm not sure, you know, how they would go, how they would shake out, how they would be received. But there is something next week that I'm planning on uh, putting out into the world next week. When I talk about the podcast or talk about the year anniversary, just because sometimes you never know where a thing or where an idea will take you, and it might be something something I might put out, and hey, it might get support, it might not. It might be like, hey Rob, why are you doing this? Is it ain't it too soon for you to be doing that or whatever? Or maybe being like, hey, sure, dope, I'm support you, all that stuff. So, but like I said, I'll talk about that more next week. Cause like I said, I'm kind of tweaking some stuff, and I don't want to speak before action. I'd rather y'all see it before acting upon it. And also, I'm not trying to be like super mysterious, because it's not something like super big, crazy, whatever. But like I said, it you'll just see. Y'all will just see next week. When, like I said, hopefully I have everything kind of in ducks in a row, and I put it out there into the world, because it's one of those things where it's like, like that mini episode I did last summer, where I kind of just talked about just like taking that first step into doing stuff and just doing it. And so, that's what I'm going to do next week. So be on the lookout, just be vigilant across social media. And we'll see, like I said, how things go, and we'll just go from there. But yeah, aside from that, everything else is good. Family's good. Kids are gonna be going on spring break next week, so I'm potentially gonna have almost a full week of peace next week. Cause all the kids, goodbye, are going away. My wife might also be going on a little trip with some friends, so be leaving me to my own devices next week. And so I'm kind of take some, which I think kind of fits perfectly in a way to where I would potentially have a bunch of free time, alone time to myself the week of the podcast anniversary. So yeah, so we'll see kind of how that goes. Maybe I'll give me a chance to kind of catch up on sleep and uninterrupted sleep. Let me be specific about that, and all that stuff. So, but we'll see how that kind of shakes out. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Kind of contemplating maybe even going and visiting some friends I hadn't got to see in over a year. Because I think it might be perfect time to kind of go do that. Because got a buddy who has had a child in this last year, and the child's about to be 1 in a few months. And it's like, man, I haven't got to. I've seen her in pictures and videos and stuff, but I haven't got a chance to go meet her in person. And so it's like, I need to do that. I need to go spend time with my friends and stuff. But yeah, but last other little housekeeping stuff I want to just mention. Like I said, just go check out, all the various reviews and impressions and stuff I've done recently. I've been reading and watching some really fun stuff. Read a new horror manga called From the Red Fog. That was really good. Actually, let me see. It's now having a shelf. Have stuff organized a little bit more on hand. But yeah, horror story From the Red Fog. Read this, loved it. Check out my review on that. I also read I'm a Wolf, but My Boss is the Sheep, Volume 1. This is very sweet, very wholesome. Kind of a not as spicy yet, but kind of give me a little bit. I guess maybe like a little bit more tame Sweat and Soap vibes a bit. So go check out my thoughts of that, because I read that and I watched season 1 of Wotakoi anime, which, man, I said this in the video I did of it, but it's like I can't believe I waited so freaking long to watch that show, because now I'm gonna start. I've already started collecting some of the manga. I need to collect more because the final volume will be out in May, so I would love to read through all of that. And that's one I highly recommend to a lot of y'all. It is kind of a romance between, basically a romance between nerds, but adult nerds that have day jobs and stuff, whatever like that. Man, so go check out all those. Go check out my manga haul video. I did for February. It was literally the biggest manga haul I've done in a single month. I think I had about 50 something volumes worth of stuff, which is where a good chunk of this came, because I ended up going ahead and finishing up some collections. I went ahead and I bought the rest of 20th Century Boys. I bought everything that I could of Ikigami. I bought all of Sweat and Soap except for Volume 5 is sold out everywhere. I bought almost all of No Guns Life except for Volume 1 is out of stock right now. And the final volume, Volume 13, is coming out in December of this year. So, but I went ahead and just bought it just to have it, and then lots of other miscellaneous ones to kind of fill in for stuff I have planned to read over the coming months. So go check out that and see some gems. Some new manga that you might not have heard of that might catch your interest. So yeah, go check that out. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Oh, speaking of which, yes, the YouTube channel. Your boy has finally hit a humongous milestone for myself. I finally crossed, and let me see if I can get it put up on screen here. So, your boy has hit a milestone of 100 subscribers on YouTube. 105 now. And to some, it's like, okay, 100, whatever. But to me, that means a lot. Especially not and not saying that, of course, I definitely do appreciate all my fellow manga tuber friends and different people in the community that support me, but it's also really cool seeing people coming through that just happen to find me because they were searching for a series, or however I came across their YouTube feed. Those have been very awesome as well. Like I said, just the variety of people. Like I said, of course, I would not be here, or it has been a big help, I guess is the best way to say it. Being a part of this community and having other people who are in podcasts and that do YouTube and stuff, whatever, help, with the push and help support and help share my content and get the word out there of what I'm doing, and everything like that. But yeah, just thank you everybody that has come through, that has been watching and enjoying the videos and the reviews and stuff, and it just means a lot to know, like I said, that there's people out there that enjoy hearing what I have to say. Because sometimes I feel like, man, am I just rambling to ramble or what's going on? But when people genuinely be like, hey, you talked about this thing, now I'm gonna go check it out, or hey, my eyes was kind of on that series, but I wasn't sure about it. But hearing your thoughts on it, okay, now we'll read it, or maybe not. Maybe I'll pass on it. Whatever the case may be, it just means so much. Like I said, just getting that support from everybody around, and yeah. So, whoops, let me boop and put this back. But yeah. So, trying to think. I think that's it for housekeeping. I've talked a lot, almost 30 minutes of just talking, but like I said, just kind of getting stuff off my mind. Yeah, I really can't think of anything else in general I want to say on that front. So I'm gonna touch on. So today I'm gonna touch on a couple of news things, a handful of shows and things that I watched, including the Batman, which I'm not gonna talk super long on Batman because literally right before I recorded this, I literally was on Inside the Mind of a Blur podcast with Steve Double O and Legend D Vash. And for almost 2 hours, we talked about the Batman. And so after that, I'm like, I don't have it in me to do another super long talk and monologue on it. So, whenever that episode comes out, y'all can go hear my thoughts, super long thoughts there. But I'll still touch on it a little bit here. But and then of course, got a little bit of manga I want to touch on, including the finale of Dr. Stone. So, enough dilly-dallying. Let's kind of just jump right into some new stuff a bit. News. Because I guess the last thing, a lot of my time, or I've also been thinking a lot about potentially playing Elden Ring. I haven't played it yet. And honestly, I haven't really played nothing lately or whatever. I still have Horizon Sun, and I definitely want to dive into that. And hopefully, maybe next week when everybody's gone, I can super dive into it. But I've enjoyed watching gameplay of Elden Ring. I've enjoyed listening to podcasts, people talking about it and stuff. And when I was at Walmart the other day, I lingered and thought about it because I was like, it's here, and Walmart be having stuff even cheaper. It was like $50 at Walmart, which is already like $10-20 cheaper than what it is normally. And so I thought about it, and I was like, man, I know I really don't have, because Horizon itself is already gonna be like 40-50 hours, I think. But it's like, I know Elden Ring, I'm hearing people talking about 60, 70, 80 hours plus of this game, and I'm like, I know I don't have it in me to invest that time right now, but I'm just like, ugh. So, but I'm living it through people in the community. I loved watching. I was dying watching Corey Kenshin's gameplay of it, as well as he also did some gameplay for Seafood, which is another game where I'm like, man, I really want to play that. Maybe someday. But also today I was watching some highlights from RDC World playing it. Daddy. So, oh boy, sorry, I had to step away for a second. Vash is freaking trying to play Ratchet and Clank, so yeah. So he asked for some help on that, so I went and trying to point him in the direction of what to do with that. But yeah, like I was saying, watching RDC World stream or Mark from RDC World playing Elden Ring. Funny stuff. I don't know if I'll ever get around to playing it, but just having fun. Like I said, just listening to the conversation and stuff about that game because it looks so freaking fascinating. It sounds so fascinating. Maybe someday. But news. So one of the big things that's happened since the last time I've been able to talk about news is the Funimation and Crunchyroll streaming catalog merger. So earlier last week, pretty much on March 1st, they began the process to pretty much bring over majority of the catalog from Funimation over to Crunchyroll. So pretty much what this means going forward is that Funimation, the app and site and stuff is still going to exist for now, but after this anime season, so once spring anime season starts in April, all new anime going forward, sub and dub, will only be on Crunchyroll. There is not going to be no, oh, is it on Crunchyroll or is it Funimation? Now, of course, there's still, Netflix and Disney Plus now in the game, but, there's still like a couple other places here and there that might get anime. But as far as like the big Funimation Crunchyroll, which one, there is not going to be that question anymore. It's just going to be, okay, it's on Crunchyroll. So, yeah, so they began moving over their catalog and stuff. So, of course, it's been growing pains with that because, of course, people, some people have been like, man, Crunchyroll app sucks for me. I wish they were all moving over to Funimation instead. And people be like myself, I'm like, the Funimation app for me was always acting janky. I'd be watching stuff and then it just paused and just kicked me off the site or kicked me off the app. So I'm like, yay, going over to Crunchyroll. But it is what it is. Everybody ain't going to be happy with transitions and mergers and stuff. But yeah, just wanted to put that news out there for anybody that might have missed it. That yeah, going forward, all of the anime sub and dub will be on Crunchyroll. And I think so if you already had a Funimation subscription, they're giving you a free 60-day trial to Crunchyroll. But if you had your subscription active on Funimation, they are working with people to transfer that time over to Crunchyroll. So, like I said, be patient with that stuff. Because there's some people like day 2 or 3 being like, oh my God, I wanted to Crunchyroll and they didn't have X show, is not on there yet, and da 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 da. And it's like, yo, they're literally moving hundreds of shows over. And as somebody that works in IT and has dealt with humongous data migrations, that stuff takes a long time. Cause heck, even just times to where like you're copying files from like one hard drive over to another, or from your computer to an external drive and stuff, whatever. That stuff could take hours, and that's just you moving stuff from your laptop to a hard drive or whatever, let alone trying to move entire, however many decades worth of anime, to a whole other platform type of stuff, So, but that's going on, that's happening. Other news that happened, and let me see if I can get it pulled up. Let me see. So, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet got announced last week. Pokemon Company did a little stream the other day, and shout out to, just give credit, Cerebi.net is, I'm looking at their Twitter page, but yeah, so they announced, not only did they announce Gen 9, but they announced that it's coming this holiday, and part of me is like, woo, cool, but part of me is also like, man, that is a lot. In 1 year, in 1 year's time, they're bringing Diamond Pearl remakes that dropped November of 2021. Then January 2022, we got Pokemon Legends Arceus. And now, for holiday 2022, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So, yeah, new Pokemon games out there on the loose. So, we get our 3 starters. So we got the grass Pokemon, which this one was Sprigatito, little grass cat looking thing. A little fire crocodile thing named Fue Coco. At first, I thought it was everybody. I think a lot of people thought it was like a little T-Rex or whatever, but they confirmed it's a little crocodile. And then Dewey Duck. Quaxley. I like him. I really like the little water duck. He might be the one I end up going with because the little weed. Sorry, the internet has ruined my mind. But the little people were calling weed cat because the little leaf in his face was like a freaking. I have no real interest in weed cat. I would be interested to see like what little Lord, now I'm seeing because now people tell me he look like the crocodile like a little apple gator. Curious to see like what he looks like as he continues to evolve. But I think I'm gonna go with True and Blue from DuckTales, Huey Duck. I'm gonna go with Quaxley, I believe so, because he looks cool, and I like the name Quaxley. I expect him to have a bow tie at some point of his evolution. So, but yeah, so we got new Gen 9 Pokemon. And they also, I'm not gonna pull them up, but they also showed off, screenshots of the game. Of course they showed the whole trailer and stuff, but it looks like it's gonna be a open world game, and open world game, kind of almost in the vein of what's it called, Pokemon Legends. So, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes when that actually comes out. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for news. Because I'm trying not to make this episode too long, because I want to chill. Oh, what is that? I'm going to look into that series later. But yeah, so as far as like stuff I'm going to talk about, like I'm going to kind of keep it the list short and tight. But I think let's kind of dive into. But all right, let's just dive into some shows. So just a quick rapid fire, no spoilers or anything on stuff, but just various shows in general that I'm still really enjoying. So first off, I want to say I am very sad that Abbott Elementary is on hiatus for a freaking month. I did not know that until last week, where I got up at the butt crack of dawn to try to watch it early with my breakfast and stuff Wednesday morning, and I go to Hulu to watch it, and I'm like, why am I only seeing last week's episode? And then I did some digging and found out that, I don't know, because of production, whatever the case may be or whatever, that it's on hiatus for 3 weeks. So new episode is like literally the last Wednesday of March. So I'm a little bit sad about that, but it is what it is. Take your time, bring the greatness. I will shout out and say, I started today while I was at lunch at work. I started watching, I saw episode 1 of Raising Dion. And the thing that made me, because I've been wanting to watch that show for years, but the thing that really made me want to get around to checking it out was there was a podcast episode I came across by, let me see if I still have it, the Blurred Girl podcast. Sorry, did not mean to play that. But they did a interview with Karama Horn, who is the mother on Raising Dion. So I listened to a few minutes of it or whatever, but then it was like, okay, now they're talking about full spoilers of, it was free game spoiler talk of stuff from season 1, season 2. Of course, since I've never seen it, I didn't have much context and stuff probably went over my head, but I was like, you know what? I want to watch it and come back and fully enjoy that conversation. But I enjoyed that first episode of Raising Dion. On to anime stuff, or tangent anime. Craig of the Creek, I watched all the episodes that went up on HBO Max. I wish they would put up more episodes more frequently, but I watched the 10 episodes that they put out from, I think, season 4. Loved it. Super awesome episode. Super fun and wholesome. Still enjoying My Dress Up Darling. That's still really good. I'm an episode behind on Tokyo 24th Ward. I need to catch up on that. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes behind on Vanitas, I think now. Let me see. Vanitas. Anywho, yeah, I'm a handful of episodes behind on Vanitas, so I really need to catch up on that. Salaryman's Club, I'm still enjoying that show as well. I think I may be an episode behind on that. Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, that continues to be a really good, just like comfort anime for me Saturday mornings. I love getting up, and whether it be first thing when I get up or just after I finish running a little errand Saturday mornings, I enjoy sitting down, eating breakfast, and watching Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest. I will say shout out to and just remember that 86 is going to be coming back soon for the final 2 episodes. I believe, let me see, 86 final episodes. Let me see. What is the dates for these? I know they're coming up very soon. Let's see. Yeah, this weekend. Yeah, episode 22 is coming March 12th, and then the final episode of season 2 is coming March 19th. So yeah, 86 coming back. I'm very hyped, very excited for that. I'm also just very excited to hear the homies over on Mic Check talk about it, because I know it's been tough holding out for this long. But that's still good. And let me see. And Love of Kill continues to be stressful every week, man. Love of Kill continues to be stressful. I'm trying to hold out and not jump to reading the manga, but it is very tough because of these freaking cliffhangers, and they're like super kind of drip feeding stuff. It feels like the episodes aren't long enough. We need more. Give us more. But it is what it is. Let's dive into some crazy stuff. So now, specifically, I'm going to jump into Ranking of Kings first. So, Ranking of Kings, shoot, I don't even know what the last episode it was when I did it like a normal podcast. Maybe episode 17 or 18 or something like that, or whatever. But basically, just speaking in general, all these last few episodes of them still fighting Oaken, them going into basically kind of like purgatory, the River of Styx, all that stuff, when freaking Oaken stabbed Boji and pretty much killed Kage and Despa and all these people, and then Moranjo ends up healing them. And then just, the moment where, seeing Kage there, getting a chance to at least like talk to his mother and stuff and let her know like, okay, yeah, he's okay, but he needs to go back and help his friend Boji. And then the conversation that was in the most recent episode between Boji's mama and Moranjo's mama, both of them talking to Moranjo and just kind of hearing a little bit more backstory on them, finding out that like, Moranjo, she now owes the demon twice, because after she killed Boji's mom, she got attacked, and when she was on the verge of dying, she asked the demon for a favor, and the demon, transferred her soul into the mirror. But basically when he did, he was like, this is now twice you have betrayed me. So I'm very curious to get more backstory on that situation and stuff. But man, this last episode, immortal versus invincible. And it was like I didn't truly know and understand what that meant until we saw the episode, and we actually get to see Bose in action, King Bose in action, in Dada's body. And the bystanders kind of making a note of like potentially because Bose is now a giant in this condensed body of his son, that just increased his durability because it's not spread out over such a large area. It's like, no, he's just condensed, he's packed. And like seeing Oaken just trying to flurry of attacks, trying to attack Bose, and it just having no effect, to where it's like freaking when Oaken struck his sword on him that first time and his sword cracked, it was like, okay, all right, we on a whole nother level, whole nother ball game with King Bose. So, but yeah, and then freaking Bose just taking. It was wild, just the raw power that freaking Bose has, and the fact that he's not even at 100%. He's at like less than 50%. Which, speaking of which, man, that annoyed me and scared me a bit when he freaking came through and just started beating everybody's butts. He like smacked Boji to the side. He knocked over all of the big four, everybody. But then he turns around and heals everybody, which is like a head scratcher of like, huh? What are you doing? Why'd you do that? Very weird, King Bose. But yeah, I love just watching that back and forth and just him just beating Oaken to literally a bloody pulp, to where he's nothing but just goop and pieces of metal. And then him just kind of like watching Oaken like continue to reform, and he's like, well, maybe if I. And he freaking packed, condensed Oaken into a little metal ball, pulls a boulder out the ground, shove Oaken into the boulder, and seal it shut. And then it's like, that's how we're going to deal with you, because you're going to keep on reviving. So if I just put you in a super tight space, you just going to be there. So, which is like kind of crazy to think about, like, man, you immortal, so you can't die, but you're just forever in this darkness, in this tiny hole. So that's crazy. And now we get the setup for freaking now Boji versus Bose. I am very excited, nervously excited to see where things go from here in that episode, to see how that all kind of shakes out and stuff. Yeah, very, very exciting stuff to see what's going to happen with that episode. And shout out, of course, make sure y'all are going. It's generally Friday nights, but schedules have changed lately, whatever. But be on the lookout. If you're on Twitter, check out the Tabernacle of Boji, hosted by my friend Panda Dadon, where every week we try to get together and just do a community discussion about the most recent episodes of Ranking of Kings. So go check that out. Go find past episodes. Even if you search for the hashtag, you'll find the past episodes that she's recorded, and you can just play them right there on Twitter, and hear the whole discussions and stuff. But yeah, so very excited for next week's episode. Like I said, I think we are now only 3 episodes I think left, because I think that this is only going to be 23 episodes. So yes, I'm very excited but sad that it's going to be ending soon. But yeah. So next up, freaking Sabikui Bisco. Now, Sabikui Bisco, and I am talking about the anime. Even though I'm showing the light novel, I'm talking about the anime. I'm showing this because, especially after this episode, today's episode, episode 9, I think I am going to have to read this. So it is a light novel. I've never really read a light novel before, so I hope I really get into it. But I decided to pick that up over the last week or so, because I was like, you know what, if nothing else, I want to at least like show support, because I've like really enjoyed this show so much. But so spoilers for Sabikui Bisco episode 9. So man, this episode, the last couple episodes, I should say in general, of seeing Bisco and Milo going against Kurakawa and finding out the reveal last episode that Kurakawa is a mushroom keeper himself, and that he's the one that basically has been spreading false information for the last decade. Like, hey, you want to know why all these rumors started about mushroom keepers, and why people blame you for all the horrible things that's going on with Rust and all this stuff, whatever. It's because of me. And so, yeah, all that stuff was just so freaking wild to see and to hear. And just watching, like, everybody just getting attacked and be getting hurt, from Pawu to Jabi to Bisco to Milo. Just seeing everybody get hurt, man. It was tough. And especially in this episode, because, we kind of pick up, episode 9 this week, which was titled I Love You, where, Milo is recovering from what happened him getting shot by freaking like 5-6 arrows last episode, full of rust. And, Bisco kind of just talking to him about stuff. And long story short, Bisco ended up sneaking off while Milo was asleep to go and confront Kurakawa. And in the moments like leading up to when Bisco's getting ready to depart with Milo, him just kind of thinking back on how, having a better perspective of how, Jabi looks at him, because, now he's having to take care of somebody and teach somebody and stuff. And so, anywho, the part of the episode though, like I said, like when Bisco finally confronts Kurakawa, and I literally cannot believe what I was seeing when, Kurakawa freaking, well, first of all, Bisco's body getting covered in rust and stuff, and then Kurakawa, hitting him with another bullet, and then Bisco going to no, he shot him and shot Bisco in the eye. That's what it was. Shot him in his right eye. And then which I guess was payback for Bisco shooting an arrow in his eye last episode. So and that's another thing. Sorry, I'm going back and forth, but last episode, that's one thing I really appreciated, was along with the reveal of Kurakawa also being a mushroom keeper, just seeing all these other various techniques and applications for mushrooms from there being a puppet mushroom where Kurakawa is using that to control some of his henchmen and making them do what he wants to do, including him controlling Milo to attack Bisco and stuff, to the kind of like acid mushroom thing that Jabi had when he was in prison. I really liked that, to where he got the guard distracted. The guard tossed him a rat because Jabi was like, hey, I'm hungry. And the guy was like, hey, here, have this. And he tossed him a rat. And then he poured some type of like fungus or something or whatever he was like scraping up off the walls or whatever onto the rat. And he plucked one of his beard hairs, poked the chemical in the rat, and some little mushrooms grew that had like some acid, and he poured the acid on the lock. Stuff like that is what I really like about this series. It's just like, okay, hey, because at first it's like, okay, them with mushrooms and stuff are kind of weird, but seeing all the various use cases and applications for it or whatever is really dope. So, but anyway, going back to this episode, like, man, seeing, like I said, Bisco loses his eye, and then that moment he gets ready to pull back the bow, and he misses, and then you realize that, oh, 2 of his fingers had rusted and disintegrated, so his aiming is off. And so then he gets into a tussle with Kurakawa because he's like, hey, I ain't got my fist, but man, we can still duke it out. And you know, just so much stuff freaking happened because I almost forgot like there was even the moment where like Jobby and Pawu was trying to stop like the giant elephant tank thing outside, which was funny. And then a giant gorilla thing showed up, and then some other big dude showed up in front of Bisco that Kurokawa summoned, but then Bisco used like some like mushrooms to have like weights, and then like made the thing fall into the lava pit. Oh, all this is happening. Kurokawa and Bisco is happening over like a lava pit where they had this like giant beast thing or something, whatever that is responsible for creating like the giant critter in Japan all those years back or whatever, and for creating rust. And so basically Kurokawa's still been like artificially creating rust or rust wind and stuff. But anywho, man, like I said, like when Bisco lost, I was already like, wow. And then when his fingers disintegrated, I was like, okay, this is getting really bad. But I was like, you know what? Hey, losing a couple fingers, okay. But the moment when he went and he punched Kurokawa's face and his whole arm disintegrated, I was like, yo, okay, this is like extremely bad, like extremely, extremely bad. And stuff. So watching that happening, and then Bisco, kind of chasing down Kurokawa as he's like running like a coward, and Bisco taking all the extra shots and stuff for her, but still just going to the dudes and just stabbing them and stuff. But let me see. Where did he do it? So I'm trying to find that moment where he punches him. Yeah. So yeah, he punches him, his arm just like from like above the elbow, just like gone. And yeah, he ends up just pushing him right into the lava. And he lands on him. Actually, no. Before that, he was about to shoot Bisco point blank. Then Milo showed up, that's right, and shot the gun out of his hand, or shot off his whole arm, his fake arm again, with the arrow. And Bisco bites Kurokawa's neck to hold on to him, and he lands on him in the lava. And so you see literally Bisco literally talking ish to Kurokawa as he's watching him melt away and fade into the lava. As literally, like Bisco literally shoving his face into the lava, which is just wild to see. And so I'm thinking like, oh, this looks bad, but I'm like, hey, Milo's there. He's going to shoot an arrow with the rope. He's going to get Bisco out of there. But when Bisco pushed Kurokawa's face into the lava and made contact with the lava, it was like, are they really about to kill off Bisco here? The main character? Really? And so, yeah, then they had like this like crazy like final talk with each other of, just talking about everything that happened and everything that's going on and stuff. And Bisco gives Milo his bow, and then he tells him like, hey, my soul will never die. I'll crawl out of the pits of hell to protect you. And he asks Milo to basically shoot an arrow to kill him. And then we see Bisco literally fall back into the lava and seemingly die. Now, one reason why I'm like, I need to read to see what's going on, because I think that this season is going to cover all of what's in this light novel, but I know that this is going to be way more detailed, so I want to know more. And then I saw that volume 2 of the Bisco novel is coming out at the end of April. So I'm like, I really hope that I do enjoy reading this, because I would love to continue to read this series beyond this first season. But I'm a reserve full judgment on if Bisco is truly dead or not until the season is done, just because I feel like, especially because this is a still ongoing series, like I said, volume 2 of the light novel is coming out in April, but I think that they're already up to like volume 8 or so in Japan. And so for me, Not that I'll be opposed to it, but it would be weird in a sense of like of me trying to picture this series going on without Bisco, you know. Now it'd be different if like, oh, you know, he had like a little brother, or he had a son or something, you know, to carry on the legacy. But it's like, are they gonna figure out some type of way to bring him back, or what's going on? You know, I feel like you know, we don't know 100% everything. But yeah, I'm just ready for next episode to come. We have 3 episodes left of this, so I am excited, nervously excited to see where the rest of the season goes, and to continue the conversation with this show. So Sabikui Bisco, love it. Go watch it. Go check it out. Now, briefly, I'm gonna touch on my thoughts on the Batman. So hold on one second. So, like I said, with the Batman, like I said, I literally just did a full 2-hour podcast talking about it with the people over at Inside the Mind of a Blur. So I am definitely not supposed to go super in depth about it here, but just want to just give just like general thoughts about it. So first off, I want to say I enjoyed. I'm gonna have a little bit extra meaning with this movie because I took my oldest son with me. I took Jaden with me to go watch it, and it's been a very long time. Honestly, maybe even some years since he's gone with me to go watch a movie. I think we watched like one of like the last couple Star Wars movies or something years back. I think it might have been the second one of the new trilogy. But anywho, that was like I think like one of the last times we went and saw a movie together. And so yeah, so I asked him last week. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go see the new Batman?" Yada yada. He was like, "Yeah." So took him with me. Whatever. We had a good time. It was dope seeing it. Kind of find out, you know, this was his first Batman movie he's seen. Not his, no, of course, not his first exposure to Batman. No, he's seen, you know, cartoons and the games and stuff, whatever like that. But this was his first theatrical experience with the movie. So that was very dope to be able to share that memory with him of that. And so I'll say in general, I enjoyed the movie. It was super long. It was like just shy of being 3 hours, but I'm just rounding up and saying yes, it was 3 hours long. Um, Robert Pattinson, he did a really good job as Batman. As you know, because you know this is year 2 Batman. He's just a couple years into this, whatever. I freaking loved Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle. Every time she was on the screen, she had my attention. She had my heart. But she did super awesome as Selena Kyle in the movie. The Penguin was also really dope. The Penguin and the Riddler both were really dope in their own respective ways within the movie. I definitely did appreciate, you know, this being a little bit less flashier Riddler than what we generally see in like the mainstream, like especially like you know the older movies and the Batman animated series and all that stuff. Whatever he has like this bright green suit with question marks and all that stuff. Whatever, just like nah, he just you know dressed in a big trench coat and stuff. Whatever, doing riddles and stuff. But oh, and of course Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. He did super awesome. Like I've really enjoyed him pretty much in just about everything that I've seen him in recent years. From him being in Westworld, which I think Westworld is like one of like the first times I like truly got to see and appreciate and love his work. But I really enjoyed him in Westworld. What If, Marvel's What If as the Watcher. He was Isaac in The Last of Us Part 2 video game. And yeah, so, but yeah, he did super awesome. I enjoyed the kind of more darker, heavier tone. I enjoyed getting to see Batman do detective work and investigating and stuff, which I felt was perfect, with the Riddler and stuff, like him going around, finding these clues, trying to solve these riddles and stuff, and piecing together, what the Riddler is trying to do and all this stuff. So, but yeah, overall, super, super awesome movie. I could have done without that one character that they were teasing at the end. I definitely could have done without him him showing up in the movie, or implied to be showed up in the movie. Could have done without that, or whatever. It was not needed, because the movie was strong enough on its own without that character being involved. But I guess it's like, hey, I'm doing Batman, gotta have this character. But I could have done without it. Let me see. What other point I want to mention? I'm trying to think. The riddles. Oh, so I've been a fan of Batman my whole life. Like I wish I had pictures or whatever, but I had like a super tall like Batman figure as a kid that my mom had got me, and I had that thing. uh, Shoot, for years and years and years. But anywho, but y'all have heard me talk about on the podcast before about how I am not super super deep into comic book stuff and lore and stuff. I know a lot of like general surface level stuff, and a lot of my knowledge from like a lot of comic book stuff, whether it's Marvel, DC, whatever, is from a mixture of the live action movies, various animated series properties and TV shows and stuff, and cartoons, and video game stuff. Now, one thing, and of course people are probably going to be laughing like, Robert, you're a Batman fan, you didn't know that, but like I said, I just never really looked into it or whatever, but it's like, it was nice me finding out that that Batman's mom, her last name is Arkham. And that is another connection he has to the Arkham facility, is that his mom's parents, or his mom's family, built that or whatever. And so it was like, the marriage of the Waynes and the Arkhams coming together. So that was super dope for me to find out, like I said, as a Batman fan, of like, oh, giving myself a little bit more extra layer of appreciation for the series and stuff, whatever. So, but yeah, and I really enjoyed, like I said, just really good performances all around, from everybody top to bottom. But yeah, but that's like some my super quick thoughts on the Batman. Like I said, if y'all want to find out more, go check out Inside the Mind of a Blurred. Like I said, we have 2 hours of discussions about this movie, and like I said, I gave y'all like another 5 to 10 minutes there. So, but enough of Batman. Let's dive into just a little bit of manga stuff. Surface level, just stuff I've kind of read real quick. Physical manga stuff. I've started my journey back on 20th Century Boys. Those of y'all that keep your eyes on the podcast feed or my YouTube feed or whatever saw that I shared my thoughts on volumes 5 and 6 of 20th Century Boys. I am still loving it, and it is still wild considering the stuff that happened in those volumes, especially in volume 6, the reveals that happened. Volume 5, volume 6. It is still so wild realizing that so much stuff has happened, so much stuff has been revealed, so much stuff has transpired, and I am only halfway through the series. So, like I said, I started volume 7, and I still got 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the sequel series, 21st Century Boys, waiting for me. So I have pretty much another 6 volumes waiting for me, and these things are packed, these things are dense. They have anywhere from 20 to 24 chapters per. So yeah, you get a lot of bang for your buck, because of course these are double volumes or whatever, but still, a lot of bang for your buck. Awesome series, still loving it. Let me see. Oh yeah, I started How Do We Relationship. I read volume 1 of this over the weekend. Because this is a series I have been interested in for a while, but volume 1 has been sought out for a while, so I just never got around to starting it or whatever. But just read a little bit of synopsis for anybody that might not have heard about this. So Shy Miwa, which is the dark-haired one, if you're looking at the cover, has always dreamed of finding love, but living in small-town Japan made finding the right match difficult, especially since she likes girls. Even going away to college didn't seem to help until one day her outgoing classmate Sayako suggests they might as well start dating each other since it's not like either of them has other options. So there's Sayako. At first, it seems like things won't work as their personalities clash and misunderstandings abound. But when their casual friendship starts to become something more, Miwa begins to wonder, can a pragmatic proposal lead to true love? So like I said, just a story about love and relationships and these two young ladies who are in their early 20s and starting college, just trying to navigate the world of love and relationships. So, like I said, I enjoyed that one and started that. I don't think there's nothing else I've really read. I am looking forward to, Karate Survivor Volume 3 is coming out this month, so I'm hype, looking forward to that. I am probably in the next week or so going to be checking out Alice in Borderland. Especially because my Barnes & Noble put it out 2 weeks early, so I might kind of want to read this and maybe get something up for actual release day in the next week or so. I guess I'll read the synopsis for this one because there was I think there was like a live action Netflix series or something based off of this. I have not watched it, so I have little to no clue what's going on with this. And yeah, so just general synopsis of this is: school sucks. His love life is a joke, and his future feels like impending doom. As he struggles to exist in a world that can't be bothered with him, Ryohei feels like everything would be better if he were anywhere else. When a strange fireworks show transports him and his friends to a parallel world, Ryohei thinks all his wishes have come true. But this new world isn't an empty paradise, it's a vicious game, and the only way to survive is to play. So I've heard good things about Alice in Borderland. But like I said, I just never watched the show or checked the manga out or whatever. So looking forward to that. I came across a couple of series just online that I'm gonna check out eventually. Let me see if I can find some names real quick. So real quick, and I feel like I talked about this already before, but I've been reading I've read the first few chapters for. It's a new series by a female manga author who was the one of the assistants and apprentices for the author of Fire Force. So she started a series called I think it's like Gotcha Kita, something like that or whatever. Really enjoyed that. That has some very dope art in that, and very dope storyline to where basically this guy gets framed for murdering his mentor and gets sent into what is called the Abyss, this like giant wasteland, like literally wasteland, like trash or whatever. So he gets sent down there or whatever. So I've enjoyed the first few chapters I read of that online, so check that out. And then I read the first few chapters of let me see, what is the name of this series? Let me see. Shoot. For Metal Alchemist new manga. Yeah, new manga series from the creator of Full Metal Alchemist. What's it called? Yomi no Sugai. It's only like 3 chapters of that out, but I read those chapters because of a recommendation from the friends over at the Kami House, because Bilal has been reading it, and then she showed a little bit of chapter 1 of Crystal on the podcast, and she read it, and they was talking about how, it pretty much goes from 0 to 100 super quick, and it's like, yo, what is that? What is going on? All this stuff, whatever. So I decided to check it out. Yep, I agree. It escalated very quickly, but I like those first few chapters, whatever. So, but yeah, that, and then I had came across a series. So I don't know how much on here I've talked about it, but a hidden gem anime for me is Dimension W, and so there is a new series from the author of Dimension W called Clavantes. I don't know what the synopsis is, but this cover image just looks so freaking dope and interesting, to where I was like, oh, and then like the little description had like from creator of Dimension W. I was like, yo, I need to look into that. And same thing, I need to look into going back and reading the actual Dimension W manga, because I enjoy the anime, but okay, yeah, I really enjoy the anime for it, and so I was like, you know what, I want to give, or I'm looking into giving the manga a try. So I found it, like majority of it is available to order online, so it was 16 volumes. So debating about when to start collecting that one or whatever, because like I said, I just dropped too much money lately or whatever, so we'll see. But I at least have that on my radar, both like I said, going back and reading all of Dimension W, and then potentially checking out this new series. And sorry, let me see, there's a couple other ones I wanted to shout out to. There's some new series from the author of Amanon, which, which I still really need to get to reading both of these volumes. Actually, I need to find the third volume as well, so I can just read them all at once. But I really want to get into reading that. But yeah, but the cover of this new one looks like the main character has like the similar facial art style or facial structure as Emanon. But yeah, but anyway, enough of various miscellaneous series or whatever. Let me touch on. Let me see. So okay. So just real quick, I gotta give a freaking shout out to Sakamoto Days. I think this was chapter 61. But speaking up everything to chapter 61, the most recent chapter, Sakamoto Days just continues to be so freaking dope, man. So from last chapter, where find out that one of the test takers or whatever is whatever is like this well-known movie director who is actually secretly an assassin, and this fool freaking basically destroyed the airplane, killing a bunch of people, and now having everybody that's taking the test free falling to the planet. And so this chapter was just so dope, just watching how everybody's maneuvering and thinking and stuff, whatever. And Sakamoto having his thoughts and thinking or whatever about what to do, how to potentially land safely and stuff, whatever, to the new young chick that she, I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this earlier, but it's like she has earned her spot on the Sakamoto crew. By the end of this arc, she's going to be working at the Sakamoto grocery store with everybody else. But she came up with the idea because some of the test takers had parachutes and stuff, whatever. And so she got the idea of like, she's having a flashback of like when I guess like her dad or whoever telling her and being like, yo, you're really good at sewing and all these other like life crafts and skills or whatever, but you're not cut out to be an assassin. Well, she used those skills to help everybody out. She was like, hey, everybody take off your shirt. So everybody took off shirts or whatever, and she stitched them all up together to create a giant parachute for everybody to kind of grab a side on or whatever. And then, yeah, they end up landing safely on the ground. But yeah, but this chapter was just super fun, super dope. Next up, I'm gonna switch over to and this I'm only gonna touch on super briefly, but My Hero Academia Manga chapter 346. So with this chapter, I just want to give a shout out to all the supporting cast and stuff, because one thing that this chapter was really good at was kind of showing and highlighting the best parts of the series, which I feel like is these characters getting a chance to use their quirks in unison, because them working together to basically devise this giant floating cage basically to keep Shigaraki in check, to where like when he touches the ground, the tiles disintegrate, but then Cementos can just create more tiles and stuff, because and they like as soon as he touches the ground and starts disintegrating, that part of the ground ejects him up into the air, giving them time to Cementos to make more stuff for that. Momo, she's working with Momo and the is it May? The shoot, sorry, that this is really gonna bug me until I look this up. Support My Hero. Shoot. What is her? May. Okay, yeah, I was right. Yeah, May Hatsume. So her and Mama working together to like get tools and stuff for her to keep everything up and floating. Denki, him and other characters that have like electricity powers, creating this like electric barrier surrounding Shigaraki and stuff. And then Monoma, him copying Eraserhead's quirk to help keep Shigaraki in check. All these characters, whatever, working together for this common goal. So that's just something that I just like really enjoyed about the chapter and stuff. So, but that's all I really got to say about that. I don't really have much to really touch on with One Piece. I'll just to say my piece on One Piece. This most recent chapter, basically, what is the where we chapter 1042? I just hope that this doesn't get too messy with this CP0 agent stepping in and attacking Luffy from behind, thus giving Kaido another open shot, which now gives Kaido having flashbacks to when that old lady helped out against Odin and stuff, whatever. So, I do agree with a lot of people that we probably are forced to go into potentially a Kaido flashback and stuff, which I think would be really dope. But a lot of people are kind of fearing that this might potentially turn into another Kaido Curry situation, to where, Flampe interrupted that, then Kaido Curry hurt himself in order to even things up and yada yada yada. So I don't think Kaido would do that, but we shall see. But I'm ready to see the next chapter. And shout out to Undead Unluck chapter 101. I'm still planning on doing a side episode with some friends about thoughts of the series up to now. But chapter 101, just seeing Andy just continue to travel around and just destroying all these Umas and just just thus breaking all these freaking rules and stuff. Because like last chapter, him getting rid of thirst. Okay, that doesn't matter too much or whatever. And then now he got rid of insect and the domino effect that's having on stuff. And then him fighting Slice, and it's just really dope just seeing all these various rules and stuff of the world being manifested into the stuff that he's having to deal with and contend with. So, but yeah, so I'm very excited to see where things go and continue from there with that series. Now, the big elephant in the room that I'm gonna touch on, and I'm not gonna be super long and deep on this because more than likely, I'm probably, if I'm not on it or whatever, I'll say go listen to the Dr Stone podcast, Kicking Stones, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a big series finale discussion on that. But saying my piece for it, so this final chapter of Dr Stone, man, it's kind of surreal just really thinking about it, because in a way, some parts of it, especially in this final arc, did kind of feel rushed a bit. And kind of in a way, I thought they kind of crossed my mind, and I don't know if there's really anything there to this thought, or if I'm just kind of overthinking stuff, whatever. But the fact that the series went on for 5 years collectively, and it started and ended on the same day. It started on March 6th, 2017, and it ends on March 6th, 2022. And part of me is like, is that why the pacing kind of sped up a bit and things like that? Because he's like, okay, he wants to hit, okay, the anniversary day is going to land on a Sunday or Monday in Japan. Okay, let's try to wrap this up so I can have like a perfect, start and stop date or whatever. It'd be kind of a cool thing to see on the wiki type of thing. I don't know, but I really feel like that we could have used at least a couple more chapters or so. Just because I was okay with the whole real explanation for like what created the Y-Men, what created the petrification devices. They just disappeared and floated off into space, except for the one that Senku kept. But I didn't really care about that. But this chapter, which is kind of, a montage of them coming back to Earth, them getting these medals of whatever, and then a slight time lapse of, them going forward, and, several years later, more world order is up, we got, them traveling by planes and different stuff. They got normal cars on the highways and stuff again. Taiju and Yuzahiro got married and stuff, which is very dope. But yeah, just seeing stuff like that. I don't really feel like we didn't really get much closure with like Suika or whatever. Got a tease that Chrome and Ruri are going to get married at some point. But yeah, like I barely see anything with I don't really see anything with what's her name with Suika, which Suika was a character that I like super loved, in the series, and like not really getting to see her too much in this finale kind of rubs me the wrong way. As well as like, man, the intrigue of the final thing we see in the freaking series is that they are working on they are working on a time machine to try to basically go back and prevent the petrification. So, of course, we don't know. As far as we know, this is it for the series. It is done. And so that's one hell of a thing to kind of like leave a cliffhanger hanging in ambiguity for the series. But, it is what it is. I'll just kind of say, I feel like in general, I enjoyed this series. If I had to put a number rating on it or whatever, I would say it's a solid, maybe solid 7.5. I feel like if this last little arc would have been a little bit more stronger, might would have raised it up to a full 8. But I feel like as a whole, Dr. Stone is a interesting, a unique series to have come along, and it's also, like I said, it's just interesting that it only lasted, or that it was only 5 years long. Because I for some reason I keep feeling like it was out longer before then, but just to see that and to know that like this series was started the same year my son was born, because Vash was born in November of 2017. And so that just like really puts like it into perspective, whatever. But anywho, but just speaking in general terms, though, like I really enjoyed so many moments of this series. I feel like last year was a super strong year for the series, because even though yes the pacing picked up a bit, especially like in like the latter half of last year, up going through this finale, I really enjoyed the journey overall, just because of the fact that like of where we started with just these characters in a stone world with nothing, and then coming up out the trenches and just through so many battles, so many enemies, so many conflicts, and then through the power of science, all various factions, various people putting their differences aside for a common goal of saving humanity, reviving humanity, getting things are never going to be 100% back to the same, back to normal, but just the thought of it, and yeah, because I really enjoyed the Ryusui arc, them basically I enjoy like the early stuff of Dr. Stone or whatever, cause I feel like that was kind of like the most grounded it was. But it was just like when Ryusui got introduced, and then that took things to another level of like, oh yo, we're finally leaving and going beyond Japan to where we're doing this on a global scale type of thing, which is like super awesome to see and to experience. And then like I said, like the shocker last year when all that stuff happened, basically with the whole Suika arc. That was, like I said, probably like one of like my highlight favorite moments of the series, just because of the fact that, like I said, like it was so much chaos going on in the moments, because we already had just like the crazy event of just like, oh hey, we're in South America and we're finding basically a giant pyramids worth shaped pyramids worth of petrification devices and stuff. And then yeah, like I said, just like the big fight between Zeno and Stanley's group versus Senku's group, and like legit feeling like so many of our characters was like getting killed off. And then the reveal, or the big moment where everybody on the planet gets petrified again, but then Suika gets revived by herself, and she goes for years alone, like 7 years, about 7 or so years by herself, just seeing her perseverance and not giving up, and just like remembering all the lessons that Senku taught her, and just seeing her growth and stuff. That is why it's like Suika is definitely one of my favorite characters of the series, and why I really, like I said, just love that whole little arc. Because like I said, just through the pain, through the direness, because I still vividly remember the panel when Suika is basically kind of like jumping up and just like in the air crying, when she got both when she got petrified and when she got unpetrified and stuff. But yeah, just so many, like I said, so many great moments, and like I said, a good series overall. Like I said, this is definitely one I would for sure recommend to people that's like, hey, you like shonen and stuff, whatever, but you want something a little bit different. And Dr. Stone, I feel like, is something different. Because like I said, just the fact that like, it's not just focused on having these big fights and battles, because like, yes, there is some fights and conflict and stuff along the way, but at its core, it always came back to science. And so, yeah. So, Dr. Stone, like I said, one for the history books, one, like I said, I will carry with me. I look forward to, hopefully, fingers crossed, seeing the rest of these series animated at some point, because I feel like that'd be really dope. I know, we already have the Ryusui special coming out this summer, and then, we have season 3 confirmed for next year, but I just really hope that we get a chance to see, like I said, the craziness of what happened in the Amazon, to the new petrification, to the reveal of like, yo, we're basically immortal, to Suika being alone for 7 years, to them going to the freaking moon. Like, I want to see some of these glorious panels of like them on the moon and stuff, whatever. I want to see that in the anime. So I really hope that we do get that at least, and that it all gets its justice and it all gets wrapped up in the end. So, but yeah, like I said, overall, I'll give, Dr. Stone as a whole a 7.5. Like I said, good. Could have been extra great, like I said, with just some minor tweaks and gripes and stuff, whatever. But yeah, in general, 8.5. And like I said, highly recommend checking out Dr. Stone. Like I said, it is truly one of a kind. It is truly something special, and I hope that maybe someday we might get to see something else from both the author as well as the artist, from this dynamic duo. So we shall see. But farewell, Dr. Stone Manga, for now, and we'll still continue with you in our hearts as we go on to the anime. But with us saying farewell to Dr. Stone, I think it's also time for me to say farewell on the podcast. So let's go and wrap things up, because it is late and I am tired. So once again, thank you all for listening and watching. As always, if you're not already, make sure you are following and subscribe to the podcast, both on the YouTube channel to help me grow there, as well as on wherever you can get podcasts. You'll find Dad Needs to Talk there, so that you'll be notified whenever I put up new podcast episodes, new episodes with guests, new reviews and stuff for various manga and anime, because I already have a couple of anime in mind that I for sure want to review once this anime season is done. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, so just, like I said, go look out for that. And like I mentioned earlier, y'all, next week is the 1 year anniversary of the freaking podcast. So be excited, be on the lookout for that. And like I said, hopefully I might get to, drop the little project thing I want to drop next week. Like I said, nothing fancy, whatever, but just something that I just kind of want to put out there, just like I said, as a way of support, for myself. So, but enough of me rambling. As always, you can find me everywhere at Dad Needs to Talk, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz. You can also go to dadneedstotalk.com, where that is the central hub for everything that I do, and I need to do some more work on that site and kind of tweak and change some stuff. But anyway, I'm getting tired. Don't want y'all seeing me dozing off on the podcast. But as always, y'all have an awesome day, awesome week. Make sure to treat yourself to something nice. Read some manga, watch some anime and TV, play some video games. Hey, maybe play some Horizon or some Elden Ring. And as always, live your best life. And with that, your boy is out. Y'all have an awesome time. Peace. Catch you later.